Paano yan? Sayang naman if hindi mo gamitin yun. And if you are in that age and you are in that era, sayang eh. And of course, the downside it could be zero. But assuming they don't go to zero, I'm willing to position into them. For someone else to take that place, it has to be 100 times better than Bitcoin. Hey guys, so I think over the past few days, you've noticed me posting a lot of cryptocurrency related topics. While I'm talking a lot about cryptos, I'm still invested in the stock market. Philippine stocks, US stocks still form a very, very large part of my portfolio. It's still a larger chunk versus my positions in the cryptocurrency market, but mainly because I've invested first in the Philippine market. I've been in it already for more than a decade. In US markets, I've been in it already for about 8 years. And the cryptocurrency market, I've just been in it for around 3 years. Time is a great amplifier. Time is a great multiplier. The longer you are in a certain asset class, the base would also be bigger. I guess one of the reasons why I'm posting more crypto content also is that it's something that I'm studying more right now, and it's something where I'm putting a lot more money also every time I have fresh funds. Please remember this. I'm not the type of person na magtatanggal ng pera sa assets. So my goal is just really to just build a larger asset class, a larger base, as compared to just quickly selling and then transferring and then using the money. That's why budgeting is very, very important, because I have a set amount of money for my day-to-day. I also have a set amount of money for my cash, for my emergency fund, and to give me a sound buffer that I do not need to touch my investments. I'm still in Philippine stocks. I actually still buy. If you've watched another video, I think I posted this a couple of weeks ago. I'm still buying Philippine stocks. I'm still also entering mutual funds in the Philippines, in index equity funds. I just still keep buying. Please remember, it may not be the most exciting right now. It may not be the most sexy. It may not be the most talked about. But what I'm accumulating there is mainly for what it could possibly be when this virus and this pandemic is over. I always talk about recessions being cyclical. Recoveries are cyclical too. It's not a question whether we will recover, it's only a question of when. That's why I'm positioning still in Philippine stocks, because so that when we recover, whatever I positioned on, I will also reap the benefits of that. But I guess medyo naging selective lang, primarily because crypto has taken a lot of my time and attention away from studying the nitty-gritty of Philippine stocks. That's why I've been focusing on the big ones lang, the ones that I know will navigate through this time. And if you look at it from a fundamental aspect, I want the ones that last year, although they were hit, they still have a large amount of cash. Either may pangsalo sila, or they could be at a position where they could continually expand and continually grow. I guess my watch list has become shorter. I would watch normally 50 stocks in the PSE on a daily basis, but now it's lesser than that already. To make it super, super extreme, bonds right now are not so attractive. The yields that you would get from bonds are not so high as compared to the equity market, the US equity market, and even the cryptocurrency market. But I'm still there. I have never taken out my investments in those positions. Even in real estate, REITs are attractive. It gives you a proxy for what's happening in the real estate market. It gives you a proxy of how you could possibly get recurring income from the dividends of REITs. But I still dabble into it. The name of the game is still multiple streams of income. The name of the game is still multiple assets. Don't destroy one just because you want to favor another one. Don't kill one just because there's one that's shining today. Please remember this. What's shining today may not be so bright 3 years from now. And what is not shining today may be the one that's shining. Umiikot lang din naman yan eh. I cannot forecast or predict which will be the better market for 6 years from now, 7 years from now, 8 years from now. But what I can do is I can deploy capital into the ones that make sense for me, into the ones that I understand, into the ones that I know I could still tolerate whatever risk or downside that's there, and I'll just deploy money. And that's why I'm still in Philippine stocks, and that's why I just keep on adding still. So US market, for those who are like me investing in US markets, you've noticed it the past few days, we've seen a lot of volatility downward in tech stocks. And because of that, of course, the whole narrative is find an area where you could buy it lower and with the chance that it has stopped falling, or it is bouncing, or it's starting to reverse, and then you start positioning into it. I really, really love tech stocks, primarily because when you invest in something that's in the right side of change, when you invest in something that's highly connected to where we will see the world 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, that it will shape how we live our lives, but it's something that's investable, that's something that's so interesting. So every time I see dips in the market, every time I see dips in tech stocks that I like, or at least the large brands also from the US stocks that are available, I would like to position in them. Dati, no, what I would position on from a portfolio level is relatively shorter, meaning mas gusto ko konti lang yung binibili ko. But it's also about building a core, which will be a set of stocks that you own, a set of assets that you own. Then it's okay to have other positions that are relatively smaller, that your portfolio should be vastly big to also diversify yourself, to also protect yourself from the volatility, and having a certain amount of cash to be able to take advantage of positions. So from what I remember, I try at least to still have 20% in cash no matter what happens, so that I could take advantage. And you may think also na paano yan, sayang naman if hindi mo gamitin yun. I'm constantly also adding to it, so that for example, meron akong $100, nagtitira ako 20. Pero yung 20 na yun, pwede ko rin i-invest kasi nagpapasok pa naman ako ng panibago. So 100 plus 20, $120 na siya. So I try to make sure that, I should have at least $30 also in cash to take advantage of opportunities in the future. If you're young and you have the capacity to be able to add more, then do it. Don't be complacent that, okay na yung linagay ko. Don't do that now. When you are watching this, I know my subscriber base is around 25 to 45 years old watching my channel. And if you are in that age and you are in that era, sayang eh. Use that time to be able to stockpile and build on the assets that you like. By the way, I'll put the link in the description below for those of you who want to invest in US stocks. eToro, in my opinion, is super amazing because it's so easy to use. I had a lot of friends message me the past few days and I just kept telling them about it, and now all of them have been sending me messages na addict na rin sila, that it's so easy to use. It's just like you're playing a game. Moving on to the cryptocurrency market, totoo, it's taking a lot of my time. So please remember that when I say I'm studying the cryptocurrency market, it's not just kasi the trading aspect of it. It's not just also just picking and selecting coins. So I would divide at least my crypto portfolio into my core ones, the big ones. And I've said it in several videos that if you would put a total on, I have the highest conviction on, in terms of not just yung belief that I believe they're the best, but also in terms of ano talaga linagyan ko ng pera, it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, and BNB. Then of course, USD as a parking mechanism. I have other ones surrounding them that have relevant positions also, but are not as big as the big ones. And that being said, meron din ako parang pinaka-outer, yung smaller portion, and those are the ones that I'm willing to take a risk on. They are not the ones that have very, very large market caps. It's something that I want to position on mainly because the upside, in my opinion, outweighs the potential downside. And of course, the downside it could be zero, but assuming they don't go to zero, I'm willing to position into them. If you've been noticing it, every time I would talk about cryptocurrencies, the way I would explain it is I try as much as possible to talk about its utility and its tokenomics and ano talaga yung magiging real life use niya, because at the end of the day, yun naman talaga eh. If it won't be useful to the real world, if hindi siya gagamitin ng tao, then the cryptocurrency or the token may just be something that's moving up in price, but if it's not being used, then that may not be sustainable. It will always go back to ano yung magiging real world application niya, ano yung mga reasons on why people will use it. That's why Bitcoin has found its niche. It's really the gold of the cryptocurrency space. For someone else to take that place, it has to be 100 times better than Bitcoin. So I think it will be harder for someone that's almost the same as Bitcoin to dislodge it. Jumbling all of them together, time allotted for Philippine stocks, the time allotted for US stocks, and the time allotted for cryptocurrencies is a lot. And I forgot to say this, dun sa cryptocurrency market space na yun, part of that also, I'm allotting for NFTs and a lot of people may not agree with this, but this is just me sharing my conviction. I really believe that NFTs also are the future of art and collectibles. There's a possibility also that there could be a large correction, like any other asset class that has moved up a lot. Looking at it from a macro perspective, its long-term potential is very, very good. That's why I'm taking a lot of time to study it. And if there's one thing that I'm double downing with, it may be NBA Top Shot because it's something that I understand. And I'm also trying to see if I could enter the NFT space into things that are, I guess, valuable to me, into things that are very, very important to me, but placed in a digital art form. So I'll let you know how would that materialize in the future, but it's just a space that fascinates me. And if there's one thing that I do know na nagawa ng pandemic na to, it has pushed the digital marketplace forward. That's why the internet is not the future. The internet is everything. In the same way, blockchain is not the future, but blockchain will be everything that we would see that will disrupt a lot of things from finance to elections to supply chain and everything else in between. And the only way for me to be able to be good at something is to keep on trying. And the only way for me also to have a position in it is just to keep on buying and build that asset base and to build that asset class. It's hard not to be able to mix all of those things, especially if you have other things also going on. Even for my style and how I would go about those asset classes sa Philippines, I've mentioned this in another video, dividend stocks, long-term fundamentally sound stocks, and position trading na lang ginagawa ko sa PSE. For US stocks, I like still to position in the ones with good long-term potential, but I would also trade somehow every time there are certain stocks that would drop and become oversold. I also love to position in the ones that I believe would be fundamentally sound in the future. Then sa crypto, halo-halo na, there are ones that I speculate on. There are ones that I trade on also short-term moves, but in a way also there are ones also that I just really want to stack and get yields off of it. Then the NFT space. I hope that this was something that's fruitful for all of you. And for those that want to invest more in the crypto space and don't know where to start, one of the brokerages that I use and one of the brokerages that I like to use is Binance. It's the largest cryptocurrency exchange in the world. So that if you're watching this and you're thinking that, I actually don't know what is something that I could use that I could actually trust, I use Binance. It's something that I'm okay to put my money on. And if you want to know more about that, I'll put the links in the description below for you guys to be able to know more about it. And if you guys want to also invest and to be able to be part of it. And you can try that. You don't need a lot of money to be able to start. For 1,000 pesos, you can already swap your peso to USDT, then all the way to whatever cryptocurrency that you want. 2 events. We have Stock Smarts, technical analysis, happening this weekend. Tomorrow na pala. I don't know if people will see this and they'll still be able to join, but it's already happening tomorrow. I'll put the link in the description below for those who want to join us. But we also have Investment Conference 2021. The speakers have increased. I think we're having around 14 speakers already with a spread of different topics from cryptocurrency to real estate, to the stock market, to an outlook into the economy, to entrepreneurship, to mutual funds, and to everything else in between. So if you want to know more about that, it's a once in a year type of event. Links are in the description below, and it would be interesting to see you guys there. And I hope that this is something that as you learn more about it, it allows you to do a deep dive and to get better at it as well. So there, and I have a set of books. The 5-set piece right now is currently out of stock, but the 4 other books that I have are still available via Shopee and Lazada. So you can check it also in the description below. So I guess that's it for now. I hope that this is something that's insightful. This is something that's helpful to all of you. Something very, very light for a Friday evening, that the whole goal and intention of it is just to share also bits and pieces of the way I think. You're also part of my journey into this node. That's why siguro I'm not just qualifying myself right now just as a stock market investor anymore. I see myself now as a multi-asset investor or maybe a portfolio investor, that there's a mix of assets, and I highly suggest that you guys do the same. So that's it for now. This is Marvin Germo. I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, guys, and God bless you all.